Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a little bit since we talked about Rachel Zegler's Snow White, and that's not our fault. That's just simply because Disney decided to delay the movie. They had no faith in this movie. They couldn't complete it on time. The strikes completely ruined everything they had planned. And not only that, they didn't want to release the film at the same time that Daily Wire was going to release their Snow White film. So they decided to take the back door and release it in 2025 or whatever the hell it's coming out. I don't really know. I don't really care. But what I do care about is the conversation around the movie because it is a bastardization the original Snow White. You guys already know this. We've talked about this many times. And Rachel Zegler is one of the most hated people probably on the internet, for women anyway. And she's trying to be that girl that is just getting everybody riled up about whatever the hell she decides to talk about. But there is a new rumor coming around, and this one comes to us from Bounding Into Comics, where the headline reads, Rumor, Disney moving to trim Rachel Zegler's Snow White screen time with new childhood subplot. Apparently what they're trying to do is they're trying to do a little bit of damage control. They know Rachel Zegler got a lot of people angry about this film, and not many people are going to want to go see her. So they're trying to do some sort of like a subplot where they're doing a childhood version of Snow White and what made her lead up to being Snow White in the first place. So let's get into this article, guys, from Bounding Into Comics. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. Like the video to push us out into the YouTube algorithm, and consider subscribing to my manga channel. The links are in the description box below in my link tree. I would love to see you there. So the article reads, according to the latest whistles on the digital streets, and hoping to undo at least some of the damage done by star Rachel Zegler's very public denigration of the film's source material, Disney is currently moving to trim her Snow White screen time by adding in a new subplot focused specifically on the titular princess childhood. Now, I want to make something very clear. These rumors, I don't necessarily believe them 9 times out of 10. And the reason why is because, let's be real, ladies and gentlemen, Disney, above all else, focuses on one thing, and that is diversity, equity, and inclusion, and looking good in the public eye. If they can give as much screen time to this diverse female as they possibly can, then they're going to do that. I don't think that they're going to remove her, especially since that's going to look a little sus. Will they add a childhood segment in there? They could. They definitely could, but it's not going to mean that suddenly Rachel Zegler is gone from 50% of the movie. It'll probably mean that she'll be in a couple scenes as a child here and there. Maybe it'll be flashback scenes where she thinks about it or whatever, but that's basically it. You're going to get Rachel Zegler. Adding in the childhood scenes is not going to remove that fact that you're going to get Rachel Zegler in the new Snow White. So if you don't want to see the movie because it has Rachel Zegler in it and she's a complete psychopath, then adding childhood moments into the film is not going to make those people want to go see the movie. Ultimately, Rachel Zegler is still in the film and she's still going to be leading it, so there's no point for you to want to go see it if you don't like her as an actress. It says this rumor was first raised to the public on January 23rd, courtesy of rising entertainment industry commentator and That Part Place editor WDW Pro. Per information first relayed to him by an alleged insider source, and again, these are alleged insider sources. I don't really know if I believe it, but again, we got to talk about it. It says, in light of the Zegler star fading among audiences thanks to her aforementioned history of trashing every aspect of Disney's original animated take on Snow White, the House of Mouse is presently working to soften the public's perception of the princess live-action incarnation. Well, I mean, they have years to do it, right? So if they want to soften it, they can easily do that, but softening it is not going to do anything to make people want to go see the film. If they have the idea made up in their mind already, they're not going to go see this film. They already made their choice. They already decided in their mind they're not going to go support the film because of XYZ. It could be Rachel Zegler, it could be Disney, it could be both. If it's both, they damn sure are not watching this film. So soften it all you want, but if I was Disney, I would just go full on. Just go full on. If you're woke as hell, just go for it. Might as well, right? You have nothing to lose. Other than money, of course, but you don't really care about losing money. It says, however, rather than doing so by way of reshooting the film with a new actress or having Zegler attempt to portray a more traditional version of the princess, the former being considered unfeasible due to its cost, and the latter because audiences would rightly find such a heel turn too unbelievable, Disney will instead attempt to salvage the live-action Snow White's image with a new story beat centered on her younger self and brought to life by a completely separate actress. To this end, as relayed by WDW Pro, Disney has hired a young actress to play Snow White as a child. The idea is to cut time out of Zegler's performance, show Snow White as a cute little kid, and soften the character with flashbacks and or major origin story portion at the beginning of the film. He further recapped of his sources' information. Of course, edits have not begun for these scenes, as we believe they're not shot yet, so things could change. And again, yeah, that's great and everything. You can have a section in the film where you're showcasing a younger Snow White, White, but ultimately it's not going to be this Snow White. It's not going to be the Snow White that everybody knows. It's going to be the woke version of Snow White. It's going to be Rachel Zegler's Snow White, the one who doesn't fall in love, the one who wants to be a leader, the one who wants to be a king and be called it whatever. Like that's going to be her version of Snow White, the girl boss version of Snow White. So unfortunately, again, if you're looking for Snow White to be adapted properly, you're looking in the wrong place because it's not going to happen. It says, as of writing and unsurprisingly given its explicit description by the YouTuber himself as a rumor, WW Pro scoop remains uncorroborated by official sources. But an interesting twist, just days before WDW Pro broke his story, Disney-centric news outlet The Disinsider published a report claiming that the film had just cast 10-year-old Coda star Emilia Foncher to play and portray the child-age princess. So it looks like this is actually going to be going through. This is from another different website that is corroborating the story just a couple of days before WDW Pro said his version of the story. So eventually you might get a confirmation publicly by Disney as they're leading up to the movie, but you have an entire freaking year before the movie's coming anywhere close to releasing. So they're not going to really release too much information right now. They're probably going to save it for some sort of expose or whatever that they could talk about it. But as of right now, there's no confirmation. It's just a rumor. Should this rumor pan out, it would stand as but just the latest change made to the animated original in its jump to live action. Yeah, because clearly what people want when they go to see an adaptation of a film is to have it completely changed from what they knew growing up. That's clearly what people want. I mean, obviously, right? You can tell by how the box offices are doing. That's exactly what they want. As previously reported, the film would make such further deviations from the source material as the addition of a new character, Jonathan, as portrayed by We Crash actor Andrew Burnap, and the Queen, as portrayed by Wonder Woman star Gal Gadot, receiving her own song and dance numbers. Notably, like the preceding rumor, Foncher's casting as a child-age Snow White has yet to be confirmed by Disney or any parties related to the film's production. Ultimately, whether or not either report holds any weight, and if so, whether the admittedly adorable Foncher's presence in the film will be enough to entice any audience members into handing their cash over to yet another one of Houses of Mouse's soulless cash grabs will be determined as Disney releases more information in the lead up to Snow White's March 21st, 2025 release date, dude. 2025. We're talking about this in early 2024, and it's not coming out till March of 2025. But again, if they don't do this, if they don't talk about it in the long term, you're not going to have enough interest when it comes to the actual release of the film. They're probably going to bank on the fact that Snow White as a namesake should be very strong and very recognizable for a lot of people. So that's what they're probably banking on. A lot of people will go see Snow White just because it's Snow White, but I don't know if that's necessarily going to be the case because Rachel Zegler just flew a little bit too close to the sun. She opened her damn mouth a little bit too much, and even the normies are starting to realize just how horrible of a person she actually is. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it, and if you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.